Hi, Tisha.
Come with me as I take my 5 children to their first baseball game by myself. Solo mom day. Husband got to work, and this is not what I intended, but a mama got to do what a mama got to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is feed them kids. So I put some Tyson's chicken wings in the air fryer along with some Ore-Ida fast food fries, and then I boiled a bag of corn. The kids ate the chicken and the fries before we left the house. They also had just recently had some quesadillas and some pears, so they wasn't too hungry, but I just wanted to make sure. I also told everybody don't drink nothing, and if you had to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom, because this is my first game and I didn't want to try to figure out what it looked like to go to the bathroom here. So by the time we did that and we cleaned up the house, it was time to go. So I just took the corn and I put it in a big Tupperware. You can see Taichi eating as we're walking, and I just brought that with us. It was 12 pieces of corn that gave everybody at least 3 pieces of corn to eat if they chose to. My thought process was behind this was like, you know how you go to a park and they got the big corn? Well, 3 of them little corns make one big one. Listen, don't ask me for nothing. So we finally got into it. I showed our tickets. Now, the thing to know, it only costs $5 to sit in the berm area, BERM. It's the grassy area. Now, our tickets did cost a little bit more because they were won in a silent auction, and then they were gifted to us, which was amazing. Y'all know me and Tashi just had a birthday, and we're also celebrating the fact that my son is now on T-ball. But it only costs $5 if y'all ever do want to bring y'all family over here. It's $5 to sit in the berm area, and then it's $2.50 plus, for tax or whatever. And yeah, it's a good time. Every day is a theme. So today, can you guess what the theme is? You guessed it, Star Wars. It is Star Wars night. So there are people walking around in Star Wars costumes. You also have the track moms that are running around, which I thought was really cool. And they're running around giving kids medals, which you'll see my kids get later on in the video. I do want to pause and acknowledge how hard this is. This is not an easy task, but luckily I have Tegan, so she did help me to push the stroller uphill and everything, because you do have to park at the bottom of the hill and then walk up the hill with the big old wagon. So the wagon is always nice because you can store whatever. You are not allowed to bring food and drinks in here. You can bring water though, but I didn't want to bring water because my kids were about to sit up there and drink all that, and then had to go to the bathroom, and then I got to figure out how to do that. So we brought our blanket. You do have to bring a blanket, and then you sit on it. You don't have to bring a blanket. You can sit on the grass too, but you can bring a blanket and sit on that. As a mom going outside by myself with all these babies, and they're very tiny and it's a lot of people, one of the things that I will say, having the blanket and sitting on it lets them remember a designated spot. Even if they get lost and they have to say, hey, my mommy is sitting on the blanket in the grass, then hey, the goal is to not lose anybody though. Now I will say that's not always something I'm very successful at. However, I do try to make sure that I do. I've not lost a kid in a good 3 years, so I think I'm getting better at it. My kids were very eager to say hi to the Star Wars guys, so as they walked up, I will let them go right there and come right back. The thing about also having little kids, they always don't remember where they came from. So True is a little bit bigger. True is 5. However, Taichi, he can get swooped up really quick, get walked away, and then never realize where he went. Anyway, so now we're going to sit down and we're going to watch the game. They decided to lay down, take their shoes off, which was fine with me. Taichi's really struggling knowing like first, second, third, fourth base. Look at this. They had so many things going on too. They had all kind of races and stuff. So I thought it was really cool that he was able to sit there and watch them run from base to base and see them throw and catch, because one thing he'll do when he playing T-ball, he will walk the ball over and I'm like, no, throw it. So we'll see how this affects him in our next week of T-ball, but I thought it was good that he could see how everybody else plays. Anyway, another cool part is they have all these free activities for the kids to do, because they know it is like a lot of kids at a game, and it's a long game. Our game started at 7:07. We did not get back home until about 10:30, so it's a very long game. It's a long time for kids to sit. So although my kids did a very good job, and I did like let them sit until they kind of get restless, and then I brought them on over to play. Now, all of this stuff right here is free. The fruit troop, the thing next to it, I believe is $5 per jump. I wasn't going. I got all these kids that, you know how much money that's, like $20. They also had the climbing wall, which was $5, and then they also had like you could throw the baseball for $5, which again, 20, 40, 60, I ain't going. So we came on over to the craft section because the craft section was free, and today's theme was make a mask. It was really cool. I was actually very shocked at how successful my kids were doing this. You can see True's hands are all red. She decided to make a ladybug. I don't know if you ever seen Ladybug and Cat Noir, but that is the theme that she was going for. This area does close at 8:45. I do recommend So some people came at 8:43 and they ran out of masks, or maybe they didn't and she was just ready to go. I don't know for real, but it was just something cool to know. So I would recommend saving this area like for the last thing to do. We came over here at about 8:30, just because hey, when it's closed, it's closed. That's just the way I work. I'm a person that likes to go to places at the last minute because yeah, like kids have a really hard time leaving stuff. You can't set timers and stuff, but when they see other kids still playing, it make it very difficult. Tiger's mask came out really cute too. She ended up making a little bunny, and then Taichi made a little puppy dog. He still had glue on it, but he wouldn't let me help him. So listen, it was whatever. So after they finished that, we came back over here and we did it a couple more times. The thing about having multiples and a baby, the baby always wants to do what the bigger kids want to do. Stuff like this can get scary. However, he does have bigger siblings that trample over him all the time. So I do let him go, and people be looking at me like I'm crazy. He did keep losing his shoe. You might notice he walks around in this video a lot with no shoes on. He kept losing the shoes. So I just took him off. I mean, it wasn't no glass, none on the floor. And it's actually very healthy to walk on the ground. So that's what we did. Tegan kept putting him up there by himself and letting him slide down. I was terrified, but again, this comes from him having siblings. Like, he had a blast. Look at his face. He was laughing. After a while, Tegan and Taichi also started fighting over who would get to go run with the baby next. Another cool thing about having multiples, look at this baby coming down by himself. That's crazy. Another cool thing about having multiples, you never actually got to worry about your baby because somebody, he mad because he don't want to get in the stroller, but somebody will always catch him and take him to where he needs to go. He's very good at communicating. He uses sign language and he has about 20 words in his vocabulary. So that's cool. Another cool thing about this is you can see the bouncy house and stuff going down. So I didn't really have to put up too much of a fight with my kids about, hey, mommy not paying for that. And I honestly hate telling my kids that all the time, but one, I do want my kids to get used to, like, you're not about to do what everybody else doing. Two, to be like budget. I did think about giving everybody like a $5 or a $10 budget while we were there and spending $30 max, but y'all also know I like to do stuff for free. Again, we came in the game for free, and then I spent a total of $30, honestly. $10 for parking. This Dippin' Dots helmet was $10, and I did let all three of them share that. I wasn't going to buy anything for them, but I did want to have a souvenir with them, with this being their first game. I also got some cotton candy. The cotton candy didn't have a price tag on it. However, by the time I paid for the Dippin' Dots and the cotton candy, my total came out to $20. So I can assume, knowing that the helmet was $10, the cotton candy was $10, and had I would known that, the cotton candy would have stayed right there. Anyway, we had a really good time. I hope this encourages you to go outside with your kids. I used to be terrified to take my kids outside.